Hi there, welcome to my channel. Well, on Friday I sold off everything again and decided to go all in on SPY. And so that's what I did early this morning. Decided to go all in on SPY. So let me show you guys just how many shares I was able to purchase. Oh, and please do me a big favor, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I really would appreciate it. It's a small channel, trying to grow it. Thanks so much. So, as I mentioned, I sold off everything. If you've watched my previous videos, I own SPY, QQQI, T-SPY, TDAC, KQQQ, and Devo, uh, QDVO, and yeah, that's about it. Those are the ETFs that I owned. On a monthly basis, it was generating about a little bit under $2,400 a month. And you may know the reasons why I sold those ETFs off to just go all in on SPY, and that's what I did early this morning. Now, I wish I would have waited a little bit longer because I could have probably bought SPY at a better price than I did. And so initially, I only bought 200 shares. I knew that I was able to buy at least 300 shares, but I decided to only buy 200 shares so that if the price did go against me, I'd be able to average down with that extra 100 shares, which is what I did. But still, nonetheless, I wish I would have waited a little bit longer to buy, I don't know, somewhere down here in this area. That would have been a lot better. I actually bought somewhere, I believe up here somewhere. So yeah, it was probably, maybe it was even up here, like maybe right around here this morning. And so I had to ride all this down. But on the way down here, I was buying. I knew I could afford to buy an extra 100 shares, so I was able to average down my average cost. And so let me show you guys. Here it is, my SPY position. Um, Currently, SPY is at $684.74. So down here, we can see that my average cost is $686.16. And I have 312 shares of SPY. Now, I originally bought about 200 shares at 687, and I think it's 687 and 29 cents, something like that, earlier this morning. But I was able to get it down, just like I was mentioning before, by buying every time it kept going down. So every time it went down by like 10 cents, I'd buy a share. And I just kept buying and buying and buying and buying shares on the way down until I hit an extra 100 shares, which now I have 312 shares. So I did end up buying an extra $1,000 worth of SPY because, well, I get paid on Wednesday. I get paid $1,000 every week. So I'm putting that in a SPY. And if I need income, if I need any money to pay any bills, I will either take it out of margin or I will sell some shares to cover the cost of my bills. I think it'll work out the same as I was trying to do before, where I was owning these 6 different ETFs that generated income, but it was only generating about a little bit under $2,400. And well, that's not enough on a monthly basis for me. So my plan previously with those ETFs was to continue investing my entire income into these 6 different ETFs that pay dividends on a monthly basis. And then, just take out on margin whatever I would need so that I can pay my bills. And then just allow the dividends that those ETFs would generate to pay down my margin. But after examining all those ETFs up against the S&P 500, they just don't match the performance of the S&P 500. Not only do they not match in total return, but they don't they certainly don't match in price return. So if we go over back to the comparison tool here, this is a comparison tool of SPY and SPY-I. If you've seen my previous videos, I've shown this various times, but just to show it again, here is the 3 years of SPY-I and SPY. So SPY-I is the orange and SPY is the blue. And SPY-I has been around for the past 3 years. And this is total return, so this includes all dividends reinvested. So with all dividends reinvested, you're at 60.66% total return, which isn't bad. I mean, it's not a bad total return. If you would have bought this 3 years ago, sorry. If you would have bought SPY-I 3 years ago, you'd be doing quite well. And especially especially if you would have just invested all of the dividends, you'd be up a little bit over 60%, which isn't bad. Now, if you would have bought SPY 3 years ago, you'd be up a little bit over 81%. So there is a very large gap right there of about 20%. So in the same time frame, in the same amount of time, 3 years, SPY-I has gone up only 60%, and SPY has gone up 80%. So SPY has gone up 20% more than SPY-I. And if we switch it over to price return, well, it's even a worse picture. But if we switch this over to just the price return, here is the price return. So as you guys can see here, in price return, there's still a positive price return on SPY-I, which, I mean, considering the strategy of the ETF, which is a covered call strategy, and covered call strategy is capped on the upside, considering that that's the type of strategy they're employing to capture the premiums and pay those premiums out to shareholders, it's done a little bit over 11%, which really, I guess, isn't too bad. But over 3 years, it's done 11%. So, while SPY over the same amount of time, in price return, has done close to 74% just in price return. So that's a very, very big difference. Very big difference in price performance or in price percentage. So this is similar with all those other ETFs for the most part. I only chose SPY-I because it's got the longest track record, or it's been around for the longest time. Now, if you look at SPY-I, for example, on Morningstar, which I don't have it here, but if you were to look it up on Morningstar, well, why don't we do that? Let's look it up on Morningstar. Go here and just go to Morningstar. Let's see if it comes up right here. Morningstar. No, I guess it won't. Hold on. So we're just looking for Morningstar ratings, I guess. Here it is. Morningstar ratings. And so if we put in here SPY-I, SPY-I, here it is, NEOS. This is now considered a 4-star fund here on Morningstar. So I'm not saying it's a bad fund. I'm not saying you shouldn't own it if you do own it. It's your decision. It's your money. So it is a good ETF. It's a 4-star ETF that pays pretty decent dividends, about 12% on an annual basis, or 12% yield. But you're not going to outperform SPY. You're not going to beat SPY. SPY is always going to beat SPY-I. Now, there may be a way to maybe combine SPY with SPY-I so that you get both, both dividends and the performance of SPY. So if I were to do that, I already kind of worked it out here on my dividend tracker. which of course I've changed everything in my dividend tracker because I no longer own those 6 different ETFs that I owned. I'm always playing around with this thing, punching in different ETFs to see what it would pay out. And so with this setup, it would only be owning SPY and in this case, T-SPY. So if I was to just own SPY and T-SPY, I'd make about a little bit over $16,000 on an annual basis, and about close to 1,400 a month. But of course, you would receive the performance of SPY. If I split the money up half and half, I'd get the performance of SPY with the dividend of T-SPY. Now I've switched it over to, if I switch this over to SPY, if we look up SPY here, SPYI, actually SPY from Neos, and we just add that. Now let's see, edit holdings. Okay, let's see, average cost currently on SPY is, let's look that up, SPYI. Okay, let's say that somehow today, I would have been able to buy SPY for $52.70, and we are talking about half of my total value here. So on my calculator here, it's 213,000 divided by 2. It's about $106,500. So divided by 52.71, that would be 2,020 shares. So if we go over here and just plug in 2,020 shares at an average cost of 52 point, oh, I didn't do it right. Okay, 52.71. Let's save that. Okay, so now that's been added. And so let's go to holdings and let's remove T-SPY. Remove T-SPY. Okay, go back to holdings. And I did do something different here. I changed the actual. Let's edit this and put the current price that I actually bought it for, which was 686.16. That is my current average cost. And I would own half of the shares, so that would be about, let me see here, 686.16. 686.16. I would have 155 shares. Okay. That's how many shares I would have. And so that would be equal, half and half, half SPY and half SPY. And so that would produce a little bit over $1,000 on a monthly basis in dividends. And that way, I would probably just split my 1,000 half and half, probably half in the SPY and half in the SPY. If I were to add a third ETF, I would say I would probably add SGov, which basically is just a cash equivalent. I think that adding potentially a cash equivalent, if I were to do that, I would probably just do 400 in the SPY, 400 in the SPY, and 200 into SGov. Now, SGov does pay a monthly dividend. It's not much. It's a very small dividend. But the reason why I think I'm thinking maybe potentially doing this, maybe, I don't know, or maybe I'm just going to stick with SPY. But if I was to do this, I'd probably add SGov, SGOV, and then just put in $200 a week into SGov. That way, you're building up a little cash reserve there in SGov. And so when you need some cash, you can sell SGov. Or when there's a market dip, you may have a pretty good pile of cash in SGov, and then you can deploy that cash into the dip. So, I'm thinking of maybe doing that. So this portfolio, I was doing the since SPY has been around for the past 3 years. I did set it up to where you know you can set it up on that dividend tracker where like it makes it seem like you bought it 3 years ago for the price it started trading at, which was $50, and how much you would have now, and how it would have performed within those 3 years up against the S&P 500. And I did that on the dividend tracker, and I would be at about 45%, a 45% total return if I would have done that 3 years ago, right? If I would have just split my money in half 3 years ago, put half into SPY and half into SPY, I would have done about a 45% return, total return. Or no, actually, it's not a total return. It's just um, without dividends reinvested, I would have done about a little bit of like about a 45% return by keeping those dividends. Now, if I would have reinvested all those dividends, then the results would be better. So yeah, if you guys got any questions, any comments, I know I change this up often. I've changed my mind so many times already. Uh, I'm just still trying to figure out exactly what to do here. Either stick with SPY because I know it's going to give a better total return, and a total price return is going to be better, or do a combination of SPY and SPY since it is a 4-star fund now. It pays a consistent amount, and in price return it is positive. So yeah, I may do that. Not sure. If you guys got any comments, any questions, please leave them down below. Please don't forget to smash that like button. I really would appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please become a subscriber. I really would appreciate it. You'd be helping me out a whole lot. Well, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. God bless. Bye.